All right, folks. Well, we're on our way again now. This time we're headed to Norfolk. It was really nice to have a proper bed, and I slept a bit too well, in the sense that I had a bit longer in bed than I was initially planning on. But that's all right. We're on the road. The other update, of course, is that when I put the directions in last night, it told me that it was about 4.5 hours to get to Norfolk. It's now telling me it's over 6 hours this morning, so excuse me. Oh dear, allergies this morning as well. I think it's really just damp outside. But anyway, it's going to take us a little bit longer to get to our destination, so a lot of today is going to be driving, but we'll try and give you some updates as we go. We may try and strategically stop off in one or two places, and we'll end up tonight in Norfolk, where I'm basically popping over to see my family. My family have gone through an awful lot lately with my younger sister's health. She had, or has got rather, aplastic anemia, which is a very rare disease, but the treatment is very similar to leukemia. She had to have a bone marrow transplant and chemotherapy and all of that. So she's been very, very unwell for the last little while, and the whole family are still in isolation. So as I'm on this east side of the country, I'm going to pop over and see them and catch up with them very briefly. And we may try and stop off on a beach or two, but then basically we're going to be headed back to the west, towards Derbyshire, because of course tomorrow we've got the Derbyshire Fossil Festival, which I'm hoping to get to. So all good and all fun. Well, as we're travelling south, the weather is definitely changing. It's now pretty dull outside and pretty bleak looking. We've had some rain. It's just amazing on this small island how much variance you can get in the weather. But I know us Brits, we always talk about the weather and everything, but I mean, look at it. We went from so sunny and warm this morning and blinding as I was driving round to now just really horrible looking. But there we are. We're just about to join the A1. So we're sort of out of the northernmost parts of where we've come from, and we've got about another 4 hours or so to get down to Norfolk. Now, what's the plan for today? Well, at one point I had hoped to leave a bit earlier so that we could do something significant on the way down to Norfolk. Unfortunately, that's a little bit late, and I did promise my family that I would help them out with some pigs on their farm. We're basically moving them from one enclosure to the next, so that'll be fun. We'll definitely show you what's going on with that. But I'm just wondering whether there's enough time to call in somewhere and have a bit of a rummage around somewhere, whether it be I don't know, Hunstanton or maybe one of the dig sites around Peterborough or something like that. I'm not sure, but we'll keep going on and see what we get. In about an hour or so, I'm going to have a break, so we'll have a little bit of a dig through some of the maps and the like, and see what we can find. So I've just seen a sign on the road as we went past, and it got me thinking. And I think we ought to have a brief little stop-off. And remarkably, I hadn't even thought of this place, but it's only about 3 miles off the road. So, happy days. All right, folks, this is our little place which I thought I'd bring you. Well, I don't know if you are familiar with Mother Shipton's Cave, but I visited once before and I've known about it for years. If you've seen us do anything on the fossil teddy bears, or indeed if there's lots of creation groups have spoken about the the fossil teddy bears that are found here, and this is where they're produced. Now, the story is there was a witch called Mother Shipton, and she had various healing powers, but she also had a cave which she'd put a curse on, and the curse was that anything that touched the water from the cave would turn to stone. Now, like most myths and legends, there are elements of truth to this story. The truth, of course, is that there is a cave and there is a well. Now, a well in old language doesn't necessarily mean the hole in the ground which you dip to get water out of. It just means a source of the water. So the source of the water here is a spring. It's a spring that comes straight out of the cliff face. In fact, if you look here, you can see the aqueduct, which is carrying water as well. And the spring comes straight out of the cliff face. The cliff around here, because we're back in Yorkshire now, so we're back in the Jurassic, and the cliff all around here is limestone. Limestone has the predominant mineral makeup of calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is the main mineral makeup of things like stalactites and stalagmites. A lot of fossils are preserved in calcium carbonate, and if you know about the dinosaur bones and the like, it's also made full of calcium carbonate. Now, calcium carbonate is one of the main minerals used in a process known as permineralization. This is a process of fossilization. You find it with things like bones and dinosaur bones and the like that, and it's where the minerals have permeated the bone, infilled the bone, and one of the common minerals is calcium carbonate. So permineralization is the process of permeating an organism with minerals. It's different from petrification. Petrification is turning something to stone. It's when the entire creature or plant gets replaced by minerals. Case in point, petrified wood. You get other types of fossilization, cast fossils, mold fossils, where you're just left with the impression of the creature. But when it comes to permineralization, it's often done with something like bone, because bone is very porous. So you have a very porous material, and the minerals permeate the bone. They literally go into the bone, permeate the bone, and infill all of that porous material. The end result is that much of the original material is still there, it's just preserved in stone. It's permeated with minerals. So with the dinosaur bones and other bones, they're very porous. Minerals like calcium carbonate and calcite, which is a form of calcium carbonate, permeates the bone, and you are left with a preserved bone. But the original bone that was in the dinosaur is still there. Now, here at Mother Shipton's, that cave, that petrifying well, has a very unique phenomena, because it will also, well, they call it petrifying, but it's not technically petrifying. It is, however, permineralization. All right, we're just making our way down to the well itself. So the water that you can actually hear is laden full of minerals, calcium carbonate predominantly coming from that limestone. And as it cascades down, it's coming from down there, and there it is over there. You can see it's now cascading down over this little ledge and down into the well. The cave is just around the other side. There it is there. And you can already start to see the calcium carbonate deposits that are there on the side of the cliff edge. Pretty remarkable deposits, really. But then have a look at what they've done here. Fresh batch of teddy bears, like just lying there. That is remarkable. And as you come along, look, we've got a camera, more teddy bears, fresh teddy bears, slightly older teddy bears. And it takes about 3 months or so to permineralize a teddy bear. Now, this, for all intents and purposes, are fossils. They are preserved in stone, they have been permeated with minerals, they have been encased and entrapped in calcium carbonate. These are all things that are required to make a fossil, and it's exactly the same process as what fossilises the dinosaur bones, it's permineralisation. Now in this case it takes about 3 months, and no, we're not saying this is an exact method for how the dinosaur fossils got fossilized, but it is showing you two things. Number one, fossilization has got nothing to do with time, but everything to do with a process, and the process really is key, and that's really evident here at the petrifying well, because it's a showing of a process, and that process is permineralization. It is a process, and it's not about time. The second important thing, which it gives an indication of, is it shows you that it can happen very quickly. In fact, you could almost argue it has to happen quickly because, I mean, guess how long those teddy bears would sit there before they'd start to rot? The answer is not very long, right? It would just rot away if it sat there for years, tens of years, certainly hundreds of years. So if you want to actually preserve these teddy bears in minerals, it has to be quick. So number one, fossilization has got nothing to do with time, everything to do with the process. And number two, that process has to be quick. Pretty amazing pace, guys, and we're going to pop down to the gift shop and see if we can grab a fossil teddy bear or two. So there's a whole load of petrifying wells around the world, particularly actually in Europe. But what's interesting is that the petrifying well here has the highest mineral content for the water than any other petrifying well in Europe. So it happens really quick, but it also happens really deep. It actually almost fully penetrates a lot of these objects, depending on the size and the porous and where they're hung. But we did an experiment where we actually took one of these teddy bears and cut them in half. And what we found is that the minerals had not permeated all the way through. There was actually soft tissue inside. And we use that as an example of, well, if you have these dinosaur fossils, and they're preserved using the same process as these teddy bear fossils, then what are the chances of there being soft tissue inside the dinosaur fossils? Quite a lot, actually. That's the research we're doing. And it really does go to show against the idea of millions of years. Now, there's a little museum up here with more examples of these petrified things, and little gift shops, so we'll head up there and see what we can find. Well, there was some fabulous stuff that was permineralized, fossilized in that shop. I did ask about any of the bigger stuff, whether they sell any of the bigger stuff, and they don't sell them specifically, but I'm going to speak to the people in charge and see if we can get a commission of a dinosaur cuddly toy here. I think that would be wonderful. But I did get a fossil teddy bear. They had the final one left, so I've nabbed it. And it's pretty cool. We'll have a quick look at it when we get back to the car. But now it's on to Norfolk. Now we've had our little sort of break. So there we go. Alright, so here we go, guys. Quite a heavy one. One fossil teddy bear. Pretty nice looking as well. It's pretty dense as well, so I reckon that's going to be mostly petrified all the way through. So that was a good stop. I'm glad I saw that sign. Good piece of evidence, nice little piece for the road trip, an additional bit of bonus. But now it is actually time to head for Norfolk properly. It's about 4.5 hours there, so it's going to be quite a lot later than I was hoping. We've spent just over an hour here, but that's all right. A lot of that time was because of road work, so you never know, they might actually... oh, the time's gone down a little bit now, that's good. Who knows, we might have hit it just right as a result, so let's go and hit the road and get going. Whew, all that hiking up and down, by the way, because it's not a through route. I didn't realise, I'd forgotten the last time I was here that you could actually park down a bit closer in the actual building itself, but I forgot about that, so I parked here in the public car park and walked on down, and I forgot that you could park there. But unfortunately the park it's like right down the bottoms, and the well is right down near the end, so you have to walk all the way down, and then it's a nice gentle walk down, but it is on a slope, and so you then have to hike back up that slope all the way back. So I'm quite warm actually, so a little bit of air. Now I'll probably need at least one more break before we get there, because I say 4 hours is a long time to drive without toilet or drink or anything of the like. So we'll wait and see how it goes, but we might pull into a services somewhere on the way as well. There's Mother Shipton's just over there. And oh, we're in Knaresborough, by the way. I don't think I've actually said we're in Knaresborough, which is in Yorkshire. It's sort of next to Harrogate, which is slightly further north than York, if you know English geography. But there we go. So yeah, we're not too far away actually from where we were the other day in Yorkshire, a little bit further south. So we could have probably come in the other day, but I'd completely forgotten about it, honestly, completely forgotten. And I've been meaning to come back for ages. I rushed here when we were filming the Dinosaur Project with Studio Scotland and Truth in Science, because we were cutting up the teddy bear. We wanted to use that as an example of the rapid fossilization and also the presence of soft tissue inside these permineralized fossils. And the teddy bears are an excellent example of that, because they are permineralized. It's the same process, but when you cut it open, it's got soft tissue inside. I'm almost tempted to cut this one open because I'd like to see, it feels a lot denser than the other one, so I'd like to see how deep the permineralization has actually gone, but I probably won't do that until I've got at least one or two more specimens. But ultimately, they're great examples of not only permineralization, but also how soft tissue gets preserved. So we were using that in the Dinosaur Project. So I ran here and ran down and bought a couple and ran back, and that was basically it. So it's been quite nice to spend a little extra hour just having another look around. The other thing which I also found is at the well, you get these large bits of wood and sticks and whatnot fall in, and they all seem pretty much petrified as well. So I picked up one or two little bits from the edge, so when we get back to the museum, we'll do a few chemical tests on them and break them open, have a little bit of a look, because I think that might be just as important, the fact that you've got this petrified wood happening. And that would be a case of petrification, turning to stone, as the because wood is very, very not just porous, but it's very absorbent, and so it will literally absorb the minerals and end up converting the whole wood to stone. So that might be really interesting to do a few experiments on that. Very similar actually to the kind of fossil wood which was actually a fence post that we collected at Harper Hill in the Peak District, which we're also actually not going to be too far away from tomorrow. So maybe a trip there. I just thought of that as well. This is a great thing about road trips. You never know where the open road is going to take you. So yeah, fun stuff. Anyway, we're hitting the road back to Norfolk. We'll catch you later, folks. Alright guys, fun times. I was driving along the A17, which is just over there, and then suddenly there was a thud, and then there was a sort of a do, and so I pulled over onto this little side road, which you can see just here, and come and see what the problem was. It's a completely flat tyre. It is completely and totally flat. Oh dear. So there we go. Anyway, I called the AA, which is the Automobile Association, not the Alcoholics Anonymous. And it could be a couple of hours before you come out. Oh, that's right. Then I get another call from them, and Oh, we send out a garage to you. Okay. Only problem is that the garage doesn't do tyre repairs. Right, okay. Because I don't have a spare, you see. Okay, so what are my options then? Well, we could recover you. Where would you like to be recovered to? Well, I'm in the middle of a road trip. I could do with getting this fixed. So, a garage? Oh, we can't take you to a garage without getting in touch with them first, and nobody's going to get in touch with you at, you know, you're not going to be able to get in touch with them at 10 o'clock at night. Alright. What next then? Well, we could recover you home. Well, that's in Shropshire. Oh, that's quite far away. Yeah, it is. Well, the problem is that we have a 4-hour delay on each leg of the journey, and you can only do 50 miles in a leg. Right, so if I was to get recovered home, how long would that take me to get home? Oh, you get there around tomorrow lunchtime. Right, okay. No, don't really want to do that. Well, I have got a hotel that I had booked in Sleaford, just, you know, half an hour drive away. So I could really do with getting some sleep. Ah, okay, well what we'll do then, we'll get the garage that don't do the tyre repairs to recover you to the hotel. Okay, and then tomorrow morning give us a call and we'll sort out a tyre repair for you, whether it's one of our patrols or whether we take you to a garage or whatever. Alright, sounds good. How long will that take? Oh, at least 2 hours. Oh. So here I am now at 11:15 at night, having broken down about an hour and a half ago. Standing at the side of the road. It's very cold now as well. I don't actually know what the temperature is. I'll go have a look in the car in a minute. Anyway, we had a good day so far. I think it was worth it going to Mother Shipton's. And I got to see the family. Yes, we did go into Norfolk. It was a bit too dark by the time I got there to do any work on the farm, but I got to see the family, which was nice, and I had some stuff to drop off and to pick up. So I got to see them for a couple of hours, and that was really nice. So I got to go and see the family in Norfolk, and then just headed off. And I was, you know, got the hotel booked. Sarah managed to sort all that out. I was on the phone to her while I was driving earlier. And she found the hotel and got it all booked at a really good deal. And I was hoping to be in bed by now, having edited everything together. But I've just been doing a bit of editing in the car, pulling together the today's programme to try and save some time later. But of course, then my battery runs out in the car. So you may be getting today's video tomorrow. But who knows? You know, we'll be watching this now anyway. I'm losing my mind. I'm too tired. I came on this holiday for a break. This road trip was supposed to be a break. I put my back out, my hip hurts, I've been lugging fossils around, I've been sleeping in the bottom of the car, and now I'm stuck heading towards midnight outside. Aha! This looks like the recovery van. That's very good timing, folks. Well, we've just been dropped off at the Travelodge, which was an interesting experience getting here, but I'll talk more when we're in the hotel room. I've got to grab my stuff together and get inside. I'm freezing. It is it is 4 degrees outside again, and so it's pretty cold, especially after we've been standing outside for sort of an hour and a half. Anyway, let's get in and get to bed, folks. Alright folks, we made it. What an ordeal, hey? The recovery man was an interesting character, sort of, you know, swearing every 3 words. He needed to get some kind of, it wasn't fuel, I think it was called AdBlue or something for his van, so he called into a garage on the way and they didn't have any, so he had to blame me and said that if only I'd have stayed local then this wouldn't have happened. He told me to stay local in future if you're going to have a breakdown, because of course that's completely in my hands. Anyway, I tried to share the gospel with him, but he wasn't too interested or anything. I think he wanted to just get home this late at night, which I perfectly understand, because that's what I want to do, or at least get to bed. Anyway, we've made it to the hotel. It's now getting on for 1 o'clock in the morning. Thankfully, during my hour and a half wait, I did a load of the editing, so I've really only got 2 main clips to kind of pull together now, and then we are away. So I'm just going to try and edit these last 2 bits, upload this and set it exporting while I go to bed. At least it'll be ready for the morning, when of course we then have to actually work out how to fix said flat tyre. The AA said to give them a call back, which I'll do first thing in the morning, and we'll go from there. And I may end up in the fossil show, or I may not, but God's got it in hand. And I need some sleep. Those are the 2 things that I know. So, good night, guys.